Welcome to Whiskey and Whitetails, a show for those that hunt with a passion and drink with a purpose. I'm still Gus.
I'm still mad.
As always, thank you to our Patreon for their loyal support, all of their input, friendship, laughs, everything that they do for us and helping us with the company and the show. We greatly appreciate it. You can be a part of that too. Just head over to patreon.com/whiskey and whitetails, right? And you can join for free. You don't get access to the Discord. But it doesn't cost very much to get access to our lowest tier, and you get all kinds of cool stuff. So go check that out. Also, thank you to the Waypoint Network for having us. And you know that network it's been great. And then thank you to you, our listener, for everything you do to support and comment and share and talk shit, whatever you're doing. We appreciate it. We wouldn't be here without you, and we'd probably still be doing this if you weren't around because we just enjoy doing it. But thanks anyways. Good one today. Kind of just bullshitting. What's up, man?
Yeah. I was going to say, also, we got a new website, so go check it out. whiskeyandwhitetails.com. Shoot us some feedback. Let us know, like, hey, this was hard to find, or this was good. You should highlight this. You misspelled that. Just give us some feedback on it. We got rid of the store, so the only way you can buy now is through Etsy. We have links to the Etsy store on our website. We were just trying to get away from some of these fees. It's just stupid to pay that much for a store. Etsy's free for us.
And the things
we pay a seller fee, but that's it.
Yeah, and the stuff that we really enjoy doing and want to do more of in the services area with classes and some of the other stuff, that's what we want to focus on. So the website caters a little bit more to that. So like Matt said, check it out. Give us some feedback. We don't have a blog anymore. I'm looking at bringing that back so we can continue to contribute. It's just we'll have some additional changes and updates as time goes on. But I had to get this up as completed as possible because hosting was running out at Shopify. And if I didn't get it over, we weren't going to have a website at all. So check it out. Let us know what you think.
Yep. Please do. All right. Yeah. Good episode. We're kind of all over the place. Talked a little bit of some stupid news, some weird stuff. Talked about whiskey for a little while and an upcoming guest.
Yeah.
That about covers her.
Cool. All right. Until next time.
Sweet. Say bye. Now we're into it.
That's the way it goes.
That's the best way. We're both in a drinking mood, so we're going to have a bottle exclusive. Open a single barrel rye, Old Forester. I wanted to open this for a while. This song's called Deep Space Samurai. Pull it down a little bit. Here's my pot. Oh, is it a good one? What are you popping over there?
Anita's choice.
Anita's choice. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm going to drink an episode.
Yeah. I walked into the store the other day. I actually bought this. I bought a Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel and that Jim Beam Black 7-year.
Dude, I'm starting to see those everywhere now.
Yeah. I was excited to see it. I think I don't think I looked at the price. It could have been $100 and I still would have bought it because I was just happy to see it.
I think they're like $60, but I'm sorry. I've seen them at Costco. I've seen them at the military place whatever it's called. Also got this new sign above me here. Thanks, Gus's wife.
Yeah, she makes those looks because of the scale. You can't tell, but the one that we made for Matt he didn't have as much space on his white. He wanted a specific size, so he made him that size. It's about like a third, maybe a fourth of the one behind me. But that one behind me is further back, much further back, but they look to be the exact same size almost. I like how much bigger the letters are on yours. I'll tell it mine's
pretty small. I only had so much space though, and I got to say, when I picked it up, I thought it was going to be too big.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I got in here and I was like, oh, because I thought you maybe when I gave you the measurements, I thought that's what you made the whiskey and whitetails. I was like, this wood's not going to fit.
No. Yeah.
The other thing too is like, it's not. I don't know what makes it straight in a video. It's like this is crooked, this is straight. Doesn't that look crazy?
Yeah. It's sometimes I do my camera mount will be off a little bit. And I'll have to fix it afterwards because I'll see a video where I can just barely tell that like up here, the corner of this door is closer to the top of the frame than over here or vice versa. And I'm like, I can tell it's fucking crooked. Nobody else cares.
No, nobody cares. It's stupid things we have to worry about. So last week's episode went pretty well. Got a lot of feedback on that. Oof.
I was jealous. We'll get to that in a minute, but what kind of feedback did you get? A lot of personal feedback? You just talking about on social media?
Dude, both social media. Got some DMs. Got a bunch of texts. People are like, this is tracking. It's making sense. Like, it's a really good podcast. A lot of people liked it.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
all good information.
what's funny is we recorded that, and then maybe like 3 or 4 days after we recorded it, before the episode came out, somebody had released a video about there being 2 shooters, 2 different guns, and they had analyzed the audio.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense, like looking back on it, that I don't want to talk about this the whole time, so we're not going to. But just to summarize that, the one that it goes boom, clap, boom, or clap, boom, clap, boom, clap, boom, and then you hear, and then you hear that clap, boom again.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty strange.
And you and I've been to enough ranges, particularly the Snipers Unknown Challenge and some other marksmanship competitions, where a lot of people are like, that's just fireworks. And the first thing that came to mind was that's a mixture of unsuppressed and suppressed.
I don't know what it was, but I can tell you that's one thing that drove me crazy. And I'm sorry if I'm busting any veterans here that that claim fireworks scare them, but I don't mean that the way it sounded just now, but they don't sound the same, and they're also exploding in the air. And I don't know, every time something exploded around me, it was on the ground, and it sounded way different. So I don't know. I've never understood the fireworks thing. I guess like startling, like when a mortar goes off, like, yeah, but that doesn't even bother me because that would be outgoing. If you hear a mortar tube that close, I mean,
yeah,
there's no link there to war. But yeah, fireworks exploding in the sky has never bothered me. And I guess it like startles me a little, but it's not I'm not like a dog, cowered in the corner. And I also understand it's 4th of July, it's Independence Day. I mean, if somebody were to shoot a firework right now, it might startle me, but I would immediately go, oh, that was a firework.
Right.
Like, they just don't sound the same. It'd be like the way an oven timer sounds.
Yeah.
Like,
and everybody keeps saying,
siren. Like, it's just
everybody thought it was fireworks because nobody did anything. Nobody ran. Well, first of all, nobody could go anywhere. And if you've ever been in an event like that, and I mean, you saw some of the, hopefully you've been paying attention, you watched some of the videos, like they had things so cordoned off and like secured in terms of foot traffic, for what it's worth, that people couldn't get out if they wanted to.
Yeah. We're supposed to be safe in there.
Yeah. But yeah, it's weird. But to make a long story short, it was a great episode. We had a lot of fun talking with Jax, and it appears as time continues to go on and things develop that some of the things we talked about, and especially the stuff that we talked about when we got into the kind of the conspiracies of things, and some of the what ifs, and some of those are starting to have a lot more weight to them.
So they're being weird. But no, and then this weekend I was lucky enough to go to the Rendezvous with Destiny and Alliance outdoor shooting range, and I keep forgetting where this place was. It's in North Carolina, a little bit past Wilmington. There's a Marine Corps base there, like one of the main ones.
Is Cherry Point up there? You sent me the address. I forgot already.
Find it. I mean, I guess I could look it up, but it wasn't Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Oh,
yeah. So it's outside of Camp Lejeune. There we go.
Oh, Camp Lejeune. Yeah.
Word. So yeah, there's a bunch of Marines showing up. We had some MARSOC guys. We had some bunch of cool people. Got to meet a bunch of cool people. It's always funny because like you go out there and they see you with the camera and they go, hey, like most people are cool. Like they're just like, hey, just so you know, please don't take any pictures or videos of me. Roger.
Yeah.
Good. I get it. I was once there myself. I understand. But also you have people that come up and they're just like, I better not see that camera pointed at me. And then you're like, I wasn't planning on it.
But now I really want to.
Piece of shit. And I'm just, I didn't. But we had, I'm not somebody you would never think would be on that list of do not. And the way they run these cyber comps, usually it's team names or names, and then they have like an unknown category. So there was 3 unknowns. So like the unknown teams, I just assume don't take their pictures, but that doesn't mean I'm not standing there when they show up, and then they register for the whichever course we're on. They're like unknown 1 or unknown 2, and I usually just walk away. But one of them ended up being Tony Cowden, which was, to me, like, I'm not saying I have heroes, but if I had someone that I looked up to, like in that community, it would definitely be him.
The guy's a legend.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I was telling the wife about it, and I was like, "You got to look him up," because he was on the Sean Ryan podcast, and
Mhm.
he's on there twice, I think. It may have been one episode split into two, but
It's
either
split
way,
into 2, yeah.
he talks about a mission he was on where he killed 21 dudes by himself.
When he got, like, disconnected in that firefight in the middle of that
No,
city?
his buddy got smoked, and then it
Yeah.
was just them two, and he dragged him across the street into a shop, hid his body under a stairwell, and covered him
Yeah.
up, and then used his frag grenades. He dropped a frag grenade in the room he was in, like, just
Mhm.
because people were coming in. Nuts,
The
man.
whole
He got
story is
so lucky.
I listened to that story on the drive to Kentucky, and 3 hours or whatever it was blew by. It's like,
Yeah.
the way he tells the story, it's mind-blowing. You can imagine, like, fighting for your life, running through streets where normal people are just shopping, and they have no idea why you're bloodied and running, like, it's
Yeah.
running out into the middle of a like,
I
some
think he's
kind
in
of
the middle
marsh.
of Baghdad, wasn't he? And this is
It's
before, like,
something
the
like
war
that.
kicked off, so it wasn't really a war zone.
No, it was just a shit show, and
Yeah.
there were no rules. There was no rules of engagement, really. It was just every man for himself, and they barely even had a. I don't think even they had a QRF to get to him
They
all
didn't
that
even know
fast.
what he was
Well,
doing.
he
He
lost
just
his
got
radio too,
Yeah, he got
so he
shot
couldn't
in the
even
radio.
communicate. Yeah,
Yeah. He said he
it's a
shot
crazy
that
story,
radio
man.
too.
I bet he did. That's cool.
But meeting him, man, it's like because
Cool.
I didn't say anything, because you respect the talent, I guess. But I didn't say shit. So after his one of his stages, he walked up to me and was like, "Hey, man, thanks for these pictures. I'm Tony." And I was like, "I'm Matt. Nice to meet you." And I didn't say anything else. I
Yeah.
never actually told him until I remember his disdain for alcohol. So like on the ride home, I hit him up on it because he follows on Instagram. So I hit him up and I was like, "Hey, man, I got a bunch of pictures of you. I'll send them to you." And I just want you to know that, like, I totally respect your opinion on whiskey, blah, 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 or alcohol in general. And I was like, you're like a beacon of light to those of us, that look up to
Yeah.
you. And he basically replied and was like, I'm just doing what I think I should be doing. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, he's not trying to be, but the dude's super cool, man. He was funny. He gets frustrated just like the normal guy does. And, it was just fun to watch him in his element. And he is a
Yeah.
monster, dude. If he could see, did I ever send you the clip of him shooting? Oh, it's on my phone. I'll have to text to you.
Mm-mm.
I have a clip on my phone that I recorded, and he's like looking for a target, and he finds it. He pushes the bolt in, pulls the trigger, slides it back, and he's like, next target is an at sign. And he's like, got it. He just saw it. And he was like, what's the distance? And as soon as the guy said the distance, pull the trigger, he throws the bolt back. What's next? Like, he was just cool, calm, and collected.
Jeez,
Like,
man.
here's my target. I'm sitting around. Like, he could do that math that fast, that distance. Like, he knew exactly. I guess he had all the numbers memorized. He wasn't really checking
Yeah.
his wrist or anything. Like, he was just, it was crazy to watch him work.
It's. Oh, I think were there a lot of so at the Snipers Unknown Challenge, we end up seeing a lot of, like, there's a good mix of active and former military, but then also civilian shooters. Were there any civilian shooters
There
too?
was
Were
a
there many of them
few.
there?
The
Okay.
vast majority was MARSOC, or
Yeah.
scout snipers. It was a lot of Marines because we're outside of Legion, but
Yeah.
that was the vast majority, and you can kind of tell by the weapons that they're shooting.
I was gonna say, the weapons and probably, like, I would imagine, like you just described, Tony, like how quickly he was acquiring targets and pulling the
Yeah,
trigger onto the next one. That's sitting on a rooftop in Baghdad shit.
yeah,
Like, that's just
yeah,
practice. And you know what I mean? Like, there's no, I'm not double checking anything. I know that my crosshair is on the body, and based on the wind, on the wind and the distance you just told me, I don't need to hold left or right. I'm just gonna pull the trigger onto the next target. Like, it's
It's also funny because you can tell he shoots matches because the open bolt thing is a PRS thing. Like they
yeah,
don't let you row the bolt, and so like
that's
when you
right.
see guys rowing a bolt, they're typically military trained. So he went from military trained to actually pulling back, leaving the bolt open, and then whenever it's time to fire, he throws the bolt forward and pulls the
Yeah,
trigger.
and that's
Um,
that shows you the level of competence and comfort on that weapon system, that
100%.
all that difficult stuff, all the calculations that are coming secondhand, that he has the time and the wherewithal to just remember casually that I have to leave this bolt open.
Yeah.
Like, little things like that, that will probably, like, the one Snipers Unknown challenge we taught, where they had to move between uh the pistol and the rifle, but they had to holster their pistol before they started running, and they kept
Yep.
fucking that up. Like, it's little things like that, that as you get fatigued and tired, that you start to lose your ability to make those decisions, and the ability to keep making solid decisions is what separates that level of guy from other guys.
Yeah. That being said, he didn't. I don't know how well he did. I didn't really stick around for
That said, he came in last place. No, I'm kidding. If you're listening,
Well, I mean, it's like some of the one of the rounds I watched, for instance, you had to double tap each target, and like I can't say anything, and so I see people screwing up. There's only one time that I did something. The guy, they were a younger team, and it was a split stage, so they were on walkie talkies, and downstairs there was a map of where all the targets were, and so the point was you get on the walkie talkie and you walk your guy into the target. So left side of the range, approximately this far, like it had camo netting, so you couldn't really laser it. It's just all based off a map.
I see.
And the guy just couldn't pick that up. He's like, I don't know. Down here, I see dots on a map like 81, 82, but I don't know the distance. I don't know the range. And he's like, well, what does it look like? And all it is just little black dots with 81, And so they got like a minute. I think it was a 2.5 minute stage. They got like a minute and a half in, and I was like, fuck it. And I put the camera down, hopped on the ladder, climbed down, and I went in there to tell him. And as I walked in, I pointed and I was like, describe to him how far away these are. And then the match ended. Like the timer ran out. So, but that's the only time I ever say anything. But anyway, with Tony, he was single tapping these targets, the ones I was just talking about. Like you had to double tap every target, and so he was hitting them once and moving on to the next, and I was just like, and then of course it upset him, and I'm not gonna sit here and say what he said, but it was very. I would have said the same thing. I would have had the exact same reaction he had.
Targets are dead.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Of course, I had to double tap. Of course, I zeroed my first stage. Yeah, but no, it's cool, man. Watching everybody shoot and then watching some of these guys, man. They came out there with military, like a Mark 22 and a Glock 19, and they just regular sights, nothing fancy about it, and they're just out there drilling like the pistol targets, just drilling them. And then you have guys out there with like my gun with the optics, and they're doing about as good as I did. With zero practice at that distance. So
it's fun. I saw like a bell curve of pictures, and it was like when you're looking at it on the left side was oh damn it, it's one of those meme characters, and he's dressed up in like Sitka, and it's like, or is it like really cheap, like shitty, and it's like this military issue stuff sucks. And then it's like shows the top of the bell curve. It's like I only buy cryo and whatever. And on the far end, it's supposed to be like your OG, like Yoda type old school. And it's just like military surplus is fine. Like sometimes it's all you need, man. You just it's just got to be reliable and get the job done. It's just the skill versus I guess equipment. Watching guys run courses with a stock platform, or just a little, maybe a red dot, if that, and then it's like it just makes you feel, at least when I see people shooting like that, and then I've got a laundry list of things I want to buy for my AR and my pistol and then light and an AR, and I was like, maybe I just need to get really good at shooting this fucking thing without all that first.
Yeah.
They're better at it.
It's funny, man. Like one of the guys had an ACOG on an AR-15 platform. And I mean, obviously they weren't doing very well. I mean, it's an ACOG and you're shooting 700-800 meters, but he did one of the stages. He smoked a target at 400 meters, which I was like, damn, well, that's pretty impressive with a younger guy with an ACOG to be able to hit that. Thought that was pretty cool. Most guys are running like high dollar stuff,
I saw
$10,000 rifles with $20,000 worth of equipment on it.
That's what I tried. I showed Gavin a picture, and he was like, how much do you think that gun is? I was like, the gun's not that expensive compared to the optics and the electronics on top of that thing. That's like $20,000, just like you said, right there between the laser rangefinder and that scope.
The other thing I saw too is some of the stages that required multiple magazines being sent down range. I mean, you're watching these guys overheat their barrels and like have to pause for the next stage. And
wow.
And it's like, I'm kind of surprised they allowed that. I would have been like, nope, you're running what you brought, brother.
Yeah. Interesting. That would have been the approach they would do, something like that at suck. Like give you a really weird situation and be like, you're gonna hit a failure or a whatever. You figure out how to get the most out of the stage.
Right. Yep.
Were the stages announced, or did they run it like suck where everything is?
No, they announced the stages, but you can't really. It didn't give you. It was basically the rules. It wasn't like there's enemy combatants. It was more like here's the layout of the stage, and there were rules that you had to abide by. Like you had to shoot some in order. Some of the targets were printed out in the room, and you had to run around the room and find which targets, and you got to shoot them in order. And like, for instance, that stage had a double tap. Some of them were marked with red, like red plastic. Like those are your targets, the red plastic. You got to hit them in this order. Some of them, like one was the one you had to climb up on a Connex. I mean, it was a lot higher than it looked. I mean, you got to have upper body strength to get yourself up there. So some people had problems with that. Yeah, like one of that running one, dude. That last stage was brutal. Doing all that running and then getting back and taking a precision shot while you're breathing like crazy. It's a lot further than it looked like it was. And yeah.
Did you get to shoot a long gun when you were doing that stage?
No.
I didn't know if you got to play.
I didn't want to embarrass myself. If it was my gun, but how am I going to get on some gun that's tailored to some dude and
I know.
Accurately hit a target 600 meters?
I didn't know if the guy was just trying to finish. Something happened to his partner. And he was just trying to finish stages or what was going on. So
no, he was actually. I just said that scenario because it was easier than explaining the entire thing. But it was actually one of the guys running the marathon targets. Like he wanted to run one of the stages, and because he had just gotten a new concealed carry and he had never shot it.
Okay.
And I was like, well, let's run this stage. And so we ran the stage together. And then he ended up, when we came out of the car and we're running towards the first set of targets, his mag fell out. So he got halfway through, and that's why the video cuts off after like his second shot. It just goes straight to me because he just walked out there and was like, fuck, where's my mag? But
that sucks.
We pull together ammo, like standing around people, like, anybody got any spare 9, and loading up mags to go run it. Because all I had, I didn't bring anything because I wasn't expecting on shooting anything. I will say the night we got there, Friday night, they had set a water bottle up, and it was just like the ROs and me, and they were trying to shoot this water bottle, and I was like, oh, I got a gun that cheats, and I went and got the red dot Glock and brought that out there, and I shot 2 times, hit it on the second shot.
Nice.
And then I like put it away like I was a fucking G.
Yeah. That's how you do it, guys. I'm gonna go play with my cameras.
For sure, I got lucky. Yeah, it was funny because one guy, he was in the army too. I hadn't talked to introduce myself. Nobody knew that I was in the army. That was just some weird camera guy. But he was like, have you ever shot a Glock before? I was like, oh yeah, I've shot a couple Glocks before.
I own 12 of them.
I went and got it and brought it out, and he's like, oh, okay. He's like, whose is that? And I was like, it's mine. And he's like, oh, so you're kind of into guns. And I was like, yeah, a little bit, yeah. I don't run sniper competitions, but
I've pulled the trigger or two.
I got a few guns in my time.
I got a few Oconus. About you, bro? Admin, fuck off. No, I'm kidding.
Turns out he never deployed, which was fine. But we ended up talking later that night because he was staying with us, and they're getting blown up over here. All right. But yeah, that was fun. It was a good time. Glad I went. It was long days, man. We got there at like 5 a.m. Yeah. And, the match was over around 6:30, and then clean up a little bit and head back. And I just died. I think I would have been like right at 9.
A long time out in the heat, man.
Yeah, it's like I didn't really eat that much because I was drinking so much water. I was just full from all the water because I got out of the truck at 5 a.m. and sweat until we left at 6:30.
Dude, that's when I was gone for that 2 weeks at summer camp with Nolan and Gavin at their 2 different camps. That's what it was like. Yeah. I would take a shower at night so I could go to bed. What I started doing was showering late at night and then turning the water to cold and then walking back to the to my tent with my hair wet because in the cool air it felt cool and it lower my body temperature so I could sleep. But dude, the second I woke up and stepped out of the tent, it was just sweaty till the end of the day. It was gross. It's the worst.
Yeah. It was a hot week. Where was your summer camp at? South Carolina?
Well, one was right here at Wadmalaw Island.
Oh, yeah. At Camp Hononwa?
Camp Hononwa. And then it was up in Camp Bud Shield in North Carolina, which is in the mountains outside of a little town that sounds like it shouldn't be real called Rutherfordton.
Oh. Westerton Fieldville, Iowa?
Yeah. That's from a movie, right? Is that from Mr. Deeds?
Yeah, it's from Mr. Deeds. Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. I told someone, I said, that sounds like and someone said, I don't know what you're talking about. And I felt like an idiot, so I didn't continue. So thank you for bringing it up. That makes me feel better. Yeah, it's weird.
Hononwa was hot, dude. That's a hot spot of the island.
Right. Not only was it hot, but it rained. It stormed hardcore. Like their second night there. And two of the 4 families that from our pack that we were camping with, they even set up their tents right, like ground tarps and everything. Just where they were located and how the water ended up flowing. Both of their tents ended up with like 2 inches of water. inside. Yeah. So they
That's
packed
not
up
fun.
and ended up going home early, but it was hot, man.
Maybe they
Hot.
did it on purpose so they go home early.
Probably.
That's some shit I would have done.
All the kids wanted to do was swim, but like the lake on Camp Huntington and the pool, because there's two, they both felt like bath water. Like the water temperature was literally in the 90s, which both days we were there, I asked what the water temperature was, and they told me, and both times it was within like 5 degrees of needing to be shut down. Because after a certain temperature, you shouldn't have a pool open to the public because it fucks up the chemicals and allows other bacteria to grow in an unhealthy rate. So it was wild, but they all had a good time. The water in the lake when we were in the mountains, that was a different story.
Cold as shit.
Well, yeah, you know how it is. Like the first couple inches, you first jump in, it's like, oh, that's not too. Holy shit, there it is. Because like about a foot underwater, it's cold as shit.
Yeah, the sun haven't heated it up.
No.
Yeah.
That was a nice reprieve from the heat, but
Sure was. I wouldn't mind camping on a lake. Is that near one of the ones that? No, those are in South Carolina. Andy wants to go to. There's one in South Carolina. There's waterfalls and there's a big lake right there. She wants to stay at the lake, like camp.
Well, Table Rock has all those campsites right there. Not the primitive ones we went to, but they have the ones in the main park. And there's like a couple of different trails and waterfalls around there you can go see.
Well, that first waterfall is bullshit. The one she sent me a picture of is like a real waterfall. I don't know.
There's one real waterfall you can see. You have to drive to it. It's not part of Table Rock, but when you get to the Table Rock and the lookout, if you go to the one that looks out towards, I believe it looks north, there's a waterfall you can see. It's huge.
That's
but there's a bunch of them up in that area that you can drive around and see. And a lot of those state parks have camping spots like inside, which is cool.
We're gonna be doing that, I believe. I got Big Drew Eubank coming to town this weekend.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I got. Are you doing breakfast with us Saturday?
Yeah, I can do breakfast Saturday.
So, just let me know what time. Chef Jeff is out of town, but we're still gonna go.
All right. Yeah, I'm sure I'll be free whenever.
I think the plan is Friday. We're gonna go ahead and get our drinking out of the way.
Okay.
See who can drink the most, and then
I'll probably
Saturday,
let you do that on your own.
No, yeah, it'd be dumb to come out here because we're just gonna be shit faced pretty early, I'd assume. And then Saturday morning we're gonna get up and do that, and then Firefly has a market Saturday.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so Stark's gonna ride with us, and then Ashley is at the market. It's her first market, so I figured,
cool. Yeah, let's go check it out.
One, it's a distillery. Two, we can go check out the market, and it's just something to do. And I figured after that I don't know if you still want to come back downtown, but we'll go back downtown. Maybe go to Husk and see my homie.
All right.
Go see Guy at Husk and have a couple drinks. Maybe get some. I don't know if we'll eat there or not. Just kind of do whatever on Saturday. I figured we could do something Charleston related.
Yeah, show them a good time. Shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah. All right, I got some stupid news. I don't know if people are aware of the CrowdStrike thing that happened last weekend. So if you were affected, they're giving you a $10 gift card.
That's the funniest shit I've ever seen, dude. Oh my god.
That's an Uber Eats gift card. $10 Uber Eats, which isn't going to get you shit.
No, it's barely going to cover the delivery fee.
That's crazy. It's so funny because they should have just been like, if I was in that room, I'd be like, "Are you serious? If we offer a $10, because you know what it is like however many people it is, they were like, all right, we'll give $1 million to these people. Yeah. Like that sounds good, and then you divide it by the people, and it's $10.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I would have been like, hey, you're gonna piss them off if you do that. You should just let it go, not offer anybody anything. But they decided to go ahead and give you a $10 Uber Eats gift card. So if you got stuck in a flight all night long, ruined your trip, missed your event, missed your sister's wedding, whatever happened to you, you can get a $10 gift card through Uber Eats from CrowdStrike. So
that's fantastic.
So stupid.
Yeah, I saw a video the other day of, and a lot of you probably won't understand this, but it was a picture of a tech at an airport, and it was explained. It showed the screen. Apparently, for a lot of the kiosks and like ticket kiosks and stuff, they had to go around and do manual BitLocker recoveries.
Yeah,
dude, that sucks.
I think it was it Southwest was the only one that wasn't affected because they're running like Windows 7.
It's like I read it was like Cobalt and Windows 3.1 or some
Yeah,
shit. Like,
old shit.
and I think someone made a fake account from Southwest and was like, "Yeah, look who needs Southwest now." And it's just like our shit didn't crash because it's sitting in a warehouse in Arlington running on Windows 3.1 and something else. And like, give us a shout if you need something. And then that was it. I'm sure it was fake, but it was funnier now.
It's funny.
Because Southwest for a long time, if you don't know, has been the laughing stock of, the cheap airline. They don't have assigned seating and all that kind of stuff. But hey,
Yeah.
they was getting where they had to go just fine.
Dude, I'm no fucking dude. I'm flying Breeze to Kentucky. It's $33 each way. Why wouldn't I? I
Yeah,
don't care if I don't get an assigned seat. Who gives a shit? It's like it's 2 hours in the air. We'll be all right.
take a
I'll
nap.
sit
You'll be
wherever.
fine.
Done.
You got?
Next, sharks off Brazil coast testing positive for cocaine.
I see a movie in the future, Cocaine Bear
Yeah.
2, When Sharks Attack.
Marine biologists tested 13 Brazilian sharp-nosed sharks from the shears near Rio de Janeiro and found they tested for high levels of cocaine in their muscle and their livers. Concentrations were as much as 100 times higher than previously reported for other aquatic creatures. What's funny is I've seen videos of them biting into those those drops in the ocean
Yeah.
and eating the cocaine out of it. And that's funny that we have given sharks a cocaine habit.
Yeah.
It's
I
hilarious.
think it's probably between drugs getting lost or dropped in there and then just remnants of those chemicals from humans dumping waste, whether it's human waste or trash. I'm not surprised. I'd imagine there's a bunch of drugs in half of the fish in the fucking sea.
I don't know how many people are dumping their cocaine out in the toilet, but I guess it's possible. I really think they're just finding them because there's got to be millions of pounds of cocaine floating around the ocean at this point.
That's fucking wild.
It's funny. All right, this one I thought was hilarious. Florida police tell people to stop taking selfies with the depressed black bear.
Oh, what's wrong with
I
that
guess
guy?
I guess he's just depressed,
Sad.
Loitering morosely on a roadside. The unhappy animal took up residence on the north side of Highway 98 in Santa Rosa Beach earlier this week, according to Facebook posts by Walton County Sheriff's Office. Quickly attracted unwanted attention from passing motorists. Onlookers were trying to take selfies with the bear when he's clearly not in the mood for pictures. The bear is showing signs of severe stress, the post said. Described the bear as stressed, depressed, lemon zest. Urged the public not to approach a black bear at any time, especially those that are showing signs of aggression like this big fella. Crowds of
Yeah.
onlookers stopping to take photos of the bear. So he's just having a rough day, man. You see him, he's just chilling, leaning against this pole. He looks a little depressed, right? It looks like he's kind of sad.
He's having a day. Like of all the black bears, if I had to choose one to fuck with, I don't think it would be that one.
No, he looks like
Doesn't look
he
like
could snap at any second.
it doesn't look like the one you went running after.
Which time? I gotta stop doing that. That's one of the worst things I do when I drink.
Yeah, it is.
What's
funny,
ever
though,
shown
is
you that video of Andy yelling at me?
Yes, of course. Which was exactly why I got nervous when we were in the middle of the mountains in Colorado and we found fresh bear, what looked like a fresh little like sleeping area with fresh scrapes on a tree and everything. And I was like, God, fuck, he's gonna go want to go run after this thing.
It
Luckily,
just looks so cuddly, dude. I don't know.
but you were sober, and the height at which we were looking up at the scratches on that tree, you were like, I think we should probably get off this ridge.
He's a pretty big bear. I mean, I saw one on the top of that, and that's when I realized carrying a gun for bears is not for the bear. It's for you. You're probably not going to be able to take that bear down with a 357 revolver.
No.
Yeah.
No, not shaking like you're probably gonna be.
No.
Honestly, your best bet in that case probably is bear spray.
Probably. And then you're blind while he's ripping you apart limb by limb.
At least I don't have to watch it, I guess.
Dude, it's not dark. I mean, I guess it is. The subject matter is dark. I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a prior MARSOC Raider, special forces guy, but excuse me. He was talking about like people doing it wrong, doing the thing wrong. And he's like, I think what I'd do is I would just fly to Alaska and I'd pick a fight with a grizzly bear. Like that's how I'm gonna do it. And like it's funny, but if you really think about it, I told him, I was like, dude, like weeks later, I was like, man, I started thinking about it, and I don't think that's the move. I think that's a bad choice. Because I mean, you've seen how they eat. They just hold you down and start eating.
Yeah.
Just
You're
doesn't
not
look like a good time.
Yeah, you're not gonna threaten that bear, a grizzly bear, enough for him to think, you know what, I gotta kill this thing all the way before I eat it.
No, hell no. He's gonna
They
hit
don't
you
it's not
one
what they
time,
do.
break your back, and then
Yeah.
it's game
They
on.
just need you to just not move too much.
Yeah.
And they really don't have a problem with that either, because they'll eat your ass literally from starting at the ass while you crawl away. They don't care.
Do you think it's their nose that they're like, well, this smells good, like the butthole? They're like, And they're like,
I
let's
don't
start
know.
there.
They probably smell organs. They probably smell things that we don't.
Yeah, probably. Because I
They
told him,
don't.
I was like, remember Saddam Hussein's kids when they would feed people to lions? Remember that? And then they were saying that they would bite them in the neck, and because their heads are so big, the lion that is, when they would bite the neck, that the head would just pop off.
Yeah.
This is X-rated at this point. But I was like, that might be like you go to a zoo and jump the fence at the zoo. Like maybe
Yeah.
maybe that's
Traumatize a bunch of families on your way out.
yeah,
That'd be great.
dude. Yeah. No. We do not advocate any of that. Let's go ahead and change the subject.
So, how about Kim?
Salmon sperm facials Kim Kardashian is getting. So, in a recent episode of The Kardashians, Kim Kardashian revealed that she tried a new beauty protocol using the reproductive goo of a fish. I got a salmon sperm facial with salmon sperm injected into my face.
Injected? Oh my God.
In August 2023, Jennifer Aniston shared that I don't know how to say it, esthetician got her into salmon sperm facials too. For decades, there's been a strange fascination in the world of beauty with putting sperm on people's faces.
It's not just the estheticians.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm pretty sure that esthetician is a man, and he was like, well, if you like salmon sperm, you should try
Oh man.
esthetician sperm.
What the fuck?
Part of the practice stems from the long-held myth that spermine, an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agent found in sperm cells in the human body, is good for the skin. However, limited research suggests there might be something to salmon sperm after all. Technically, salmon sperm is called PDRN, which stands for polydeoxyribonucleotides. Hey, that's pretty good.
That's a good job.
The fishy ingredient extracted from sperm cells of chum salmon and salmon trout, according to a 2017 study. Represents a new advancement in pharmacotherapy. There's a lot of new words in here that I've never heard of before.
It's different. It's like different. Gonads. This is gonads.
I didn't even mean to do that. I was trying to scroll. To get into more detail, Dr. Sophie Schotter, an aesthetics doctor, told Salon via email that PDRN is a gel substance that contains DNA fragments that are derived from salmon gonads. That's a good way to put it. It's not salmon sperm. It's DNA fragments derived from salmon gonads.
It is different from polynucleotides,
which is a mixture of DNA and RNA. Okay.
Ooh.
Well,
mRNA?
I don't care what they said. It's salmon cum on your face. We should open a clinic. See, I'm just to see how many phone calls we get. Not even like because I'm really trying to do it.
You think trout or redfish are just as good? Maybe we can have a southeast version.
Yeah, like flounder. Oh, I do have one more, and this comes to it. This is a tip I'm going to give everybody that's worried about the end of the world. Whenever I see things like this, I share it on like my neighborhood Facebook group because I'll just open it. Costco is selling apocalypse-ready food buckets, 150 servings with a 25-year shelf life. So I figure if I share it to my neighbors and then they reply and say, just got one, thanks for the tip, I'm going to figure out where they live and I'm going to write that down.
Smart.
That way I know where it's at.
I'm
not going to buy it. Costco wants to make sure you're well fed when the zombie revolution begins or the aliens land. The aliens land, I don't think that's our first thing to worry about. But yeah, total 25,280 calories. Wow. Teriyaki rice, pasta Alfredo, potato pot pie, and apple cinnamon cereal.
What they don't tell you is that yes, that's enough food supply for one adult for however many days technically, but it's so packed full of bullshit, and it's probably like 2 meals, 25,000 calories.
You also got to have fresh water, I would guess, to make all that work.
That's true. And what's funny is the number of people I've met that have, you know, stockpiles or have put together something like that. And I always ask, so what are you doing for clean water?
Yeah.
Just head like deer in the headlights. Like, yeah,
Clean water is a precious necessity. I'll tell you what I do. I have 3 um, water filtration bags. So I've got one in the truck, one in my first aid kit, and one right here in my office. Um, but yeah, you should definitely stock up on those while you can. Food, you'll be able to find. I promise. Water is going to be hard to find. I mean, you'll be able to find water, but you won't be able to drink it.
yeah, you need to know how to treat it and clean it or collect it in a way that makes it, there's ways to collect water from plants, trees,
Yeah.
rain, just humidity. You can create little things.
And I will say, if iodine tablets is your goal, you'll regret that. I don't know if you've ever had iodine tablet water. It is horrible.
It is. It's horrible, but you'll survive.
Shit, you have to.
Yeah,
I just drink so much water, man. I mean, I probably drink close to 2 gallons a day. So for me to imagine having to come, my full time job would be collecting water. I'd have to. I don't know how I'd do it. I'd be so dehydrated all the time. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
I had something else, unless you have any stupid news.
Not stupid news. No.
So I had something else I figured we could talk about. I got asked this 4 times maybe this weekend at that match, because people, they find out about, I guess after the first day, Ortiz starts reposting stuff and they see Whiskey Mytel. So I got asked stuff about allocated bourbon.
Oh yeah.
And so I got asked a lot of stuff, but this was definitely the number one question. And it was, well, why are some bourbons so expensive or hard to get?
Yeah.
And I figured we could kind of talk about that a little bit for those that don't know, that are kind of new, because I think that most people don't bourbon shop. Like, you go to a store and you see what they got. Some people are into the Facebook groups where you're buying it online for astronomical prices. Sometimes they're reasonable, but um, so what I've been telling people is kind of like, they can only make so much, and when they make something that gains traction, like
Yeah.
the new hotness or an Old Faithful, depends on what it is. But it's like this in anything. So, for instance, I like Air Force Ones. There's certain Air Force Ones that I would never wear just because they're just too much. I like just plain colors. But if I wanted something that was cool, it's gonna be hard to get. You're gonna have to buy it off eBay. You're not gonna see it in a store because they're allocated. They go to certain special releases, and then people buy them all up, and then they hoard them, and then they sell them online. It's kind of the same thing in everything. Same thing with cars. Like, if you want to get the new Porsche GT3 RS or something, it's like, you better be pretty close to the front of the line, because you can't just walk into a Porsche dealership and buy one. You can't really buy much in a Porsche dealer. Most everything nowadays is mail order, but
Yeah.
it's kind of the same way with the whiskey world. So, like, if you see these bottles online and then you're like, I just can't ever find anything. And what I tell them is what we always tell people: like, there's better shit. There's stuff that's just as good or better that's in the store that you're just not looking at because it doesn't get a lot of traction. But I just kind of I figured we could talk about that for a second.
Yeah. I'm all for it. Let's do it.
So I think the biggest one would be like the Buffalo Trace thing. Like, some states, it's everywhere. And don't get me wrong, if I see Eagle Rare, like, I'm gonna buy it if it's $30-$40, but I'll never see that in South Carolina. But I see it in North Carolina, Georgia, places like that.
I think we probably should give some context to people who are listening that live in different states, that they need to take some time to understand how the distribution works in their state, because that will tell them immediately what that hunt is going to look like. You're right. Like, if you live in South Carolina, and the way that we have our tiered distribution here, I can tell you right now, there's probably not a liquor store within 30 minutes driving distance that I'm going to find Blanton's at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Probably not in the state.
And that's one of the reasons that we always talk shit about Blaine's, because it's the people that are seeking it out don't really even know anything. Like,
I meant to say Buffalo Trace,
and you're
but
like, I want to get it.
Same,
Buffalo Trace,
same thing. And so, like, it'll help, if you're listening and you're new to finding some of these allocated bourbons that you see people posting and talking about, and you want to try them, it helps to understand your own state's distribution. Because I know for a fact that if I want to find decent stuff at MSRP, I need to go to North Carolina because it's the closest state does ABC, and I need to shop around release times when stuff's being put
not
into
off
stores.
95.
Yeah, and not off 95 where everybody else is stopping. You need to
Yeah.
go into town. You know, I'm fortunate I have in-laws. Matt has family up there, so it's easy for us to kind of get lost in back roads and little towns, and that's where you find the gyms.
Yep. It just happened when I went to Broad Branch. I went through. Well, 26 was backed up to 95, so I just jumped on 95. I was like, I'm not even dealing with this today. And this was
Yep.
at 5 o'clock in the morning. So, but I drove up, went to Bucky's, and I didn't get anything. I just kind of walked around. I think I got a. I
I
don't
always
think I
just
got
walk.
anything.
I stop there all the time just to walk around. I don't know why. It's like
Yeah, just went and looked at stuff. Maybe I got a shirt. I don't know, but yeah, and I took back roads I've never been on before, and then once this 9 o'clock when I know the stores are opening, I just pulled up my phone and typed in ABC store, and I
Yep.
stopped at all the ABC stores between there and my final destination. That's one of the reasons I left at 5 o'clock in the morning, so I had a couple hours to do that. But I ended up finding Eagle Rare. I found a Michter's rye, barrel proof rye. You find stuff. That's how you find it, is going and doing stuff like
Yep.
that. So and that's kind of what I was telling them. Like, if you just walk into the store down the street, one, you don't know the guy. So relationships, we key on relationships all the time. That's super important.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to know him. And even now, I've heard stories. I haven't seen myself, but I've heard stories of people that come in looking for stuff, and they'll ask where you live. And then if you're like, I'm not from here, I live down, they're like, nope, we don't have anything. And I've even
Mhm.
heard of where they will check your ID to make sure you are indeed a local, because they know that people
Interesting.
are coming and buying stuff off 95.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they save these allocated things for locals. So it's another strike against you. And also earlier when Gus said the tiered systems, they all have the same tiered system. It's what he meant was the distribution of how it comes to a liquor store. So ours comes through a distributor to a privately owned liquor store. North Carolina as an ABC state, so it goes. The government provides all
Right.
that liquor to the stores, and again, they're usually right at MSRP. The other thing too is a lot of the government stores, they do allocation lotteries, so you don't.
Mhm.
They won't even have it on the shelf anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I don't, and I'm sure you're the same way. No, we're fortunate to have some connections with some store owners, so we get little, nuggets of information when there's something coming through. But I don't even I don't spend time looking for allocated bourbon in South Carolina. I just don't. I will see it sometimes in stores, but and usually I take a picture of it. That's the other thing that's been happening a lot recently. I've taken out my phone to take pictures in a liquor store twice now, and gotten one asked me not to, and the other
Yep.
one didn't seem really annoyed that I was taking a picture
Yeah.
of stuff they have behind the counter. You know, and it's like, don't get mad at me because you're posting you're pricing this Kentucky Owl for $189. Like,
That's
just
cheap today. Kentucky Owl today is like almost $300.
oh, maybe I should have bought it then, but I don't remember which one it was. But it nonetheless, it's in South Carolina and in states where we don't have an ABC store like this, you're going to deal with a lot more of I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's
All
not that
correct
as
on
bad
that.
as
The
it is here.
confiscated is going to be cheaper, but the actual one worth buying, the real bourbon one, that one's like $300
Yeah.
now.
Well, I guess my point is you're going to have a harder time, obviously, finding it in a state like South Carolina. An ABC store, you're going to have a little bit better luck. You're going to have to play the game, though, like Matt was saying. And sometimes that means trying to read the individual. I've been inside with Matt, I think it was with you, where there's an older lady working the store, and we just took on a chance to just ask if they had something. I forget what it was. I think we were looking for a particular Elijah Craig. It doesn't matter. We asked her and she had it in the back. She just hadn't brought it out yet.
Yeah.
But if you don't, she's not giving it shit. She's just stocking shelves. She's a state employee working at an ABC store. She doesn't give a shit if John from,
Yeah. It's
you
not
know,
her store.
the,
She's not trying
yeah,
to hide stuff.
right. So you just got to kind of read the crowd, and sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss, but you're gonna have
Also,
it's a
asking for like an Elijah Craig is a good chance of a hit. Where if you come in there and ask for Weller or Pappy or birthday bourbon, something like that,
yeah,
they're not gonna. Even if they have it, they're not gonna. I guess I just know because we know liquor store owners, and I've spent a lot of time in liquor stores just hanging out, and it seems like the phone rings. Everybody that walks in, every single person, y'all, where's your Pappy? Y'all got any Pappy? And that's the worst way to do it. You're definitely not going to get it if you do that.
no,
You
no,
have to have some kind of class to the question.
and
Usually a
you've also,
story that tugs
it,
at the heartstrings.
yeah, and
My
if you're
dad's
not,
coming, he's old.
if you're not driving through town and you have the ability, like, and we harp on this all the time, and maybe we need to teach a course on how to do this, but you've got to spend time building relationships with those store owners, which means going in there and buying a bottle of regular Evan Williams or bottled
Yeah.
and bond or something, and go in there once a week, look around, buy something every other week if you're not drinking that much, and have a conversation. Eventually, you'll figure out who the actual owner is, and you can start targeting your conversations, and they'll notice you too. Because in reality, I don't think it's that many people that go into a liquor store on a weekly basis.
There's
It's
also
pretty cool.
levels to it. Like if you get in
Yeah,
there and you do get in good, you can't go in there every week and be like, "Hey, it's me again. What do you got
no,
today? What came in? When's your delivery days? Oh, I'll be here every morning at Thursday at 10 a.m." You can't do that either. Like I couldn't tell you the last time I asked any of my, well, they're all friends now, but any of my friends, for anything. I couldn't tell you the last time.
yeah. When you
But I
send
do
me
know that if I wanted something, I could go get it.
right, the two main store owners that you've built a relationship with and has benefited us as just friends and meeting people in the community. You get stuff through them all the time, but you go in and you stand in line or you do exactly what everybody else does.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like a couple of times a year. Do you ever, and you always say, "Hey, look, I don't normally do this, but I am asking for a favor.
Yeah.
Do you have a bottle of this?" And any other time you talk to them, it's like, "Tell me no. I'm not asking as a favor or a friend. I'm just asking if you happen to have it." And we're willing to pay the full price, stand in line, whatever it takes. You have to show your willingness to respect their business, and then
I'm
they're going to be
also never asking for Pappy. Like that's not
no, of
because
course not.
one of the stores doesn't sell it. Period. Like he never will have it on the shelf. He donates all of it, which is probably the best way to do it. The other one caters to Kiowa, and so
Yeah,
he has to. That's where all that stuff goes down there.
you
So,
have to.
but
Like
I
if
will
that's your
come in
client,
and be like, I'm looking for this year's Midwinter Night's Dram, like something like that. Like
yeah,
that's what I'm using my favors for. But even then, I've kind of quit buying stuff because I don't want to have to pack all this shit up and move it.
you do have a lot of shit. I was thinking about that today. I was looking at my smoker and I was like, should probably just sell this. I should smell it. I should sell this fucking thing because I don't want to pack it, but
Yeah.
it's still serving me some use right now. It's just so hot outside. I don't want to do anything outside.
Dude, I haven't used my smoker in a hot minute. I might use it this weekend. I don't know. It has
Yeah,
been just
good.
miserably hot.
Yeah.
This is that part of the year we tell everybody not to come visit, and this is the time of the year everybody wants to
Everybody
come
wants to
visit.
come visit.
It's also like this is our winter. Like we don't go outside ever. I mean,
Yeah,
we
I,
just
I
don't.
I make myself go outside just sometimes because I'm inside so much for work. Like I force myself to go sit in the back patio and just get some air and sun. But man, it's miserable.
Yeah, it's crazy
Miserable.
hot. You know, it's hot when you walk outside to go to work, and I don't even get to my truck in my driveway before I'm sweating already.
Sweating. Yeah.
I get in there and wipe my forehead as I take my hat off and throw it on the passenger seat. Like, gosh,
I need to live somewhere where it's hoodie weather, like 90% of the year.
yeah, yep, yep. Or at least somewhere where, yeah, somewhere not. It's just God, it's so hot. I always forget. Like I always say that I love the heat because I do, but I mean, right now it's just unreal. I mean, my house is set at 75 degrees right now, and it feels like it's Antarctica in here.
I my youngest son Nolan discovered the thermostat the other day.
Mm-mm,
I woke up and
my
dude,
dude.
I it was so fucking cold upstairs. He had turned it down to like to 55 degrees. Bro,
Wow.
we were
All your
chilling
vents are
upstairs, bro.
dripping water.
Dude, it was 10 degrees. It was like 15 degrees colder upstairs than it was downstairs. No, more than that, almost 20 degrees colder.
I'm busting into I haven't had
Ooh,
this in a while. Water Turkey Rye 101. Just little tidbit for those of you that do dusty hunting. Don't waste your money buying a dusty Wild Turkey Rye 101. I did a blind next to this one in a 90 or 2001, 99 or 2000, it's something like that. I couldn't tell the difference.
oh, that's too bad.
Like they have not changed that one bit.
Just funny. It's crazy to think that they've not had any really flavor or profile drift at all in all that time.
Yeah, it's nuts. I don't know if they're blending it to be exactly the way it used to be, or if that's just legitimately because I know they don't give a shit about rye wild turkey. That is,
I was gonna
So I
say
don't
that
know
they
if they
probably
just
made a bunch,
dump it
and
all in one container and then fill bottles. Like they don't care. They don't even blend it. And that's just what it tastes like when you blend it all together. I mean, that sounds ridiculous for me to say that as a executive bourbon steward. But
or
anyway,
certified executive.
certified. But I don't know how they taste the same. It's what they do. It wasn't enough difference to pay twice the price because it's
Right.
23 years
Yeah.
old or whatever.
That kind of thing pisses me off whenever I buy like a single barrel of a whiskey I like normally, and it's not really all that different. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
dicks. Paid
But it is good. I get a
$1,400.
lot of like lemon zest, like ton of citrus on these.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for them to not give a shit about rye, they make a damn good rye.
It's a very bright and very approachable rye. I like it a lot.
And I will say Bruce is changing that. Bruce Russell, which is the grandson, he's so for instance, the new Wild Master's Key that just came out. I don't remember what it's called. I don't know. I can't remember it, but it's a rye, and I think it's their first rye Master's Keep. It might be. Don't take that to the bank. But they don't do a lot with rye, but they make a damn good one.
I wonder why.
Because Jimmy doesn't like it.
Yeah, it's just
Well, Eddie doesn't like it either.
Yeah. Well, when you're the boss, you can do that. Hey, you're on mute or something. Something's going on. Can't hear you.
How about now?
Yeah, gotcha. It's weird.
Oh damn, I don't know what I was saying, but I was continuing that conversation.
We were just talking about Rise and how they don't like it and they're changing something.
I don't know if they're going to change it or not, but Bruce is going to change it. I think Bruce is definitely than everybody else.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be all I got. Next week we're going to have the Scout Sniper Association on. Met them at the event. Guy's pretty cool. He's got his prosthetic is grafted straight to the bone. Never seen that before. So he has a metal rod coming out of his femur. I mean, the skin like grows around the rod. It's nuts looking.
Yeah.
But he was saying that before, when he just had the cup, that he would like step on his dog or his kids and he wouldn't notice. But now he can feel terrain in it because it's directly connected to his femur bone.
Yeah.
Step on something, I know I'm stepping on it.
Yeah. He's got like feedback.
I would have never guessed that you could graft metal straight to your bone and then it come out your skin. That's crazy. It's gnarly looking. I sent you a picture of it.
Yeah. I've seen some crazy things that they can do with surgical steel and some creativity. All the time I spent at Walter Reed for work, seeing guys walk around, like guys getting procedures like that on both legs. So they've got like the metal coming out of both legs, but they can't do anything for weeks or months at a time. So they're just stuck on these, like, imagine a remote control wheelchair, but it's a bed. It's a bed. And they're just like chilling on this little bed, cruising through the dining hall and getting food, going back to their little dorms and shit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's miserable, but they got a lot of stuff available to them. But it's wild. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like I imagine they do that like a knee replacement where they like hammer it into your femur.
Dude,
and then it just or bolt it. I don't know.
I'm gonna 100% ask him. I don't know. I believe it's inside the bone.
Have I ever told you that my grandmother opted to stay awake? She couldn't feel anything. They put a nerve block in it, but she stayed awake and watched her own knee replacement. Ever tell you that?
No, but I'd puke.
Yeah, she's a fucking boss, dude. She stayed awake and watched the whole thing.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
I would puke.
It's a different kind of human.
Yeah, they don't make them like that no more.
She still had the thing covering her. She was watching on a screen. She wasn't like sitting up over her knee. I can't imagine that be allowed to do that for all kinds of reasons. But yeah, she was like brain awake and able to see and talk to the doctor.
I'd probably watch it on a screen, but there's no way I could sit there and look at my leg getting cut open and
I think I could watch it after the fact, but you can still hear, like they use a saw to
they can feel the vibration in your leg.
I'm sure I could smell that. No way that I'm going to be able to smell that and know that my leg is filleted open and not puke right there on the table.
Gross. That's a hard pass. I don't even want to think about it. Yeah, we'll have Aaron on next week.
Cool.
Looking forward to that. So
yeah,
that'll be good. But I think that's all I got, man.
Cool. Let's see. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Season starts soon. We should be getting our tags in the mail here soon. We're less than a month out from opening day.
I just got an email about that saying that they are sent. Should have them any day now.
Oh, nice. Cool. I don't really have anything else, man. Been a crazy week. I've been until about 5:00. Forgot that we were even doing a podcast today. It's just been. I talked to you about it earlier. Work's been crazy, but I'm looking forward to getting in the woods, even if it's going to be hot. Just need to get the fuck out of being in an office all the time.
Same. Yeah, we're 20 days away, I guess. 21 days.
Suppose it's time for me to put that saddle on and figure out what the fuck I'm doing with it.
Yeah. Did you get those sticks?
No, I need to send them my damn address. I'm gonna do that right now.
You should probably do that.
Do it right now.
All right, I'll let you do that. And
cool, man.
See everybody next week.
All right, thanks, folks.
Bye.